I'm all dizzy. I haven't even gone to the target number officially. I haven't even started the session. I can't breathe. Like all the air goes away. Okay. I get so dizzy. I start passing out and I can't breathe. This feeling, I don't like this feeling. Oh my god, this feeling. No, it feels like sickness. It feels like disease. I can't handle this sensation. No, 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 this is horrible. It's the body and it's so sick and it's disease and it's yellow and white and uh, oof. Did you feel that? Oh my gosh. This it's this body. There's limbs, there's arms and ligaments and this thin tissue and this face which looks like it's white and it's like this tissue is white and yellow. What am I looking at? That I've never seen anything like that. Yellow and white body tissue. And the arm feels limp. Not tired, but just unable, like just weak. This smell. It smelled like a chemical, like some kind of cleaning agent or formaldehyde. There's this pungent, thick air. It's like a body with chemicals and cleaning agents if you put it into a box. Like if you dig a big container and place it underground and then you put this white and yellow thin body in there and some cleaning agent chemicals, it just creates this stuffy closed space of air with a bad smell, and it's really thick and it's warm in there. I'm not sure yet about the container, but it was like this confined space underground. Who the bearded man again? The brown beard and this man. The bearded man and the body with the yellow and limp and the white tissue, and those are two different things. Some kind of a body which is lying down on its back. I don't even know if it has a nose. It's white and yellow. It's like colors of the tissues, like ligaments, tendons. This cannot be a living body. So we have the bearded man and we have this body. And I cannot imagine them being the same because the body that's lying down is so skinny, and this man with the beard, he's more robust and he looks alive, and he doesn't have any of these sensations or appearance that the yellow thing has. The place itself feels pleasant. There are no quarrels. We have some kind of a cup with a bad liquid, and it was as if someone held it with both hands and was bringing it to their mouth to drink. This house, which is dark, a feeling like death and murder, evil feeling house. The yellow, limp, thin body, it slides or is pulled or just slides by itself, slowly downwards along the ground on its back. There's no screaming or panic. The bearded man is smiling, he's happy. It's just not an aggressive, angry kind of place. It feels pleasant and happy. Inside the water, there is a rectangular, dark box container shape, which feels to be metallic. There's lots of broken glass inside the box. The bearded man is stuck. There's a buoyancy. It's as if he's floating on the water with some kind of a flotation device under his arms in front of him. There's something soft under him, like a sofa kind of feeling. He is not a friendly or a kind man. He hates many people. He has done some bad things, but nobody needs to know about them. He is being very cautious here about the broken glass. He's careful with his hands because there's broken glass. The body-like thing, which doesn't feel like it's alive, it is completely rigid. It has been ripped apart and torn. It has the broken glasses on it. It has no teeth left in the body. It looks like it has been dissolved. It's as if the skin is missing, because I can see on the arms, it's just ligaments. It looks like a human anatomy laboratory pictures to show the tendons and ligaments that are inside. It's like the skin is gone and it's just these ligaments and these long yellow strips, but it's still the shape of an arm. It doesn't move anymore. It was never angry. There's a person here. It could also be the bearded man. And this person is carrying some books. These books end up being sunken down into the water. The person was always very careful with these books. On the outside of the house, there is this hatch against the wall of the house on the outside. And when you open this hatch, you could then go down and go into the basement of the house. Someone's having a manic episode about his things, his worldly possessions that he has at the house and maybe in the basement. Books, some type of soft, kind of like thick gloves, maybe paint cans, or who knows, stuff, junk. He gets these manic episodes. He will frantically obsess about his things, almost like he wants to see where they are. Here are my items, they're mine. He gets this fear that someone's going to take them or touch them or put them, rearrange them, put something somewhere else. He's manic about his things. But there's a darkness about this behavior. No arguments are being had at the house. And we encounter a person who is very pleasant. And this person agrees with everything. Is very agreeable. Everything's pleasant and there's nothing bad here. Alright, we just took a deep dive inside the personality and inner workings of the bearded man. The bearded man, frantically, it was like, we have to rearrange all of the things, arranging his items.
A murder has happened. A rage.
He hates himself. He doesn't like who he is. He wants to be someone else, someone different. He wants to be a cool guy, but he fears that he is not. He wants to hate, but he cannot. He's very docile. He doesn't hate anyone. He only likes his things. He is an avid items collector. He wants to be well known and rich. He wants to be good at something. He wants to be a pulled out guy who made a success story of himself. He wants to be someone you know and someone that you can be proud of. He wants to be well known at school. He wants to be liked by all the girls and women. He wants to be known for sports. He wants to do well. He wants to be familiar to somebody. But meanwhile, he all and only hides behind his things, like a football sports memorabilia and his other many nice things. As I looked closer, there was a fuming mess, a chaos in this person's mind. This person wants to go somewhere but cannot. This person has done something bad. It has killed someone. Someone died because of this person. This person went down the stairs and was hesitant at first, and then felt a fury and a madness. This person likes doing sports, hiding a body. This person has taken a victim, so it's definitely the same as the bearded man. I'm looking at the items and I find that someone is very possessive over them As I'm touching them to see what they are, someone feels like they were feeling, not mine. Like, don't touch them, they're mine. So someone's having a drink and likes looking at the items. So as I'm in this room and I'm looking at these items, this person says to me,
What are you doing here? What, are you a woman?
like they're always confused to see me, a woman, suddenly there. As I look at the cup, which contained a bad liquid, someone is laughing here. Something of the cup was swallowed. The cup contained a pill, which was a strong medicine. It makes you not remember it has nastiness inside. The cup broke, and hence all of the broken glass. And I see a person sitting on a furniture indoors. And this person is very frail and slender built. At the house, someone is laughing, and there's some kind of a happy time. It feels like a party. There's a chain across the hatch, and someone has a baseball bat and is hitting with the baseball bat against the hatch on the outside. As for the house, I find a torture device, a stripping off meat, a chaos. Someone feels drunk or intoxicated in the head. The head feels heavy and the head keeps tilting to one side before always being pulled back by the person itself. So it's kind of like being drunk or some kind of alcohol or drug in the head. The box that is in the water, it's like a case, like a coffin almost. There are no lights inside it. It feels completely dark. Someone was stuffed inside this box. And this box has wheels on it.
No, do not take them. They are mine.
The bearded man, he has this follower mentality where he likes when other people tell him what to do.
Let me out of here.
The bearded man feels disappointed in himself, like he would be a bad person. He likes wearing clean socks every day, and he takes good care of his outer appearance. He feels sad a lot, and sometimes he feels very lonely. He likes black women the most because they were always friendly toward him. He is not sweaty or dirty. He likes women a lot, and he likes to collect football memorabilia. The other body is lying down on its back. It has been ripped. It was set on a chair first, and it was accused of something. It was struck down with nails that were like metal screws.
No, they are mine.
Someone yells or screams at me when I'm touching the items. The cup of bad liquid turns out to be a wine glass. It has a sweet and sour taste. A fizzy drink was added into it like a dissolving tablet, and someone has consumed this liquid. Someone is very protective of the house, and there are chains around the house, and it was as if there was an X of chains across the main entrance door. Inside the house, there has been a woman who has been pregnant and has had many children. There is a dog somewhere that lives here in this house. The dog has long hairs, white hairs, and also black or dark brown hairs. And the dog isn't very big, but there's this sense of a man who is just not just protective of his things that are in his house, like we have seen, but very protective of the house itself. Like these chains around the house to just keep it guarded and sealed. And as I touch this boat-like container, someone says,
No, it is mine.
I am very pleased to meet you. Thank you for coming here. Someone at the target site seemed to say to me, but it could have also been said to someone else. I see a basement type of room that seems to have gray walls. and several metallic bookshelves in the room, not just against the walls, but also center of the floor, as well as tables or counter spaces against the walls. And there's this sensation of paint cans and things stacked here. I just want more money so that I can buy them, said or thought a man who had baseball cards spread out in his hands. So he wants money so that he can buy more of these sports cards.
I am sorry, do not come here. I have made a mistake.
The bearded man sounds sad and is in the basement type of room. Some alcohol was drunk. Someone was drunk. Get out of here. I don't want to see you anymore, someone said to someone else in the room. A remembering problem. A numbness of the mind. A fury about items. A remembering of the bad times. A visitation anger. A cup of mad. A human is lost here and has lost all hopelessness of ever being rescued. A funny ha-ha moment. A giving away flowers to someone. A not going to the hospital even when needed. A fury about a lost item and a need of taking it back. I need to get my things back, he says. Down in the water it goes. The papers are all important. Someone's skin was rubbed and the skin came off. A person is going away fast on the bicycle and wants to go far, far away. A hesitant about going back home, an unresolved matter. Someone drank a lot of alcohol here. Someone wants to not remember any more mess.
Do not come here, please. Leave this place. I know I look like a tub of lard. I know.
Someone took a lot of pills, and then this person forgot who this person was with. No one is quarreling here, no one is angry. This deals with the madness fury of one person. There is some type of a swimming pool at the house outside, and there was a swimming pool disaster. The house is locked up with chains.
Thank you for coming here and helping me resolve this mess.
The bearded man in the basement said to me. Why do you look like you are going to take it? The man says to me about the item. I am not going to take it, I said to the man. It is very important to me, the man says to me about the item. Someone's heart is failing here and it happens quick. It is because this person drank too much alcohol.
It is here very messy and noisy, and I apologize.
Someone brings down a penicillin or a medicine.
It belongs to me, not to her.
I see a man who is beating a baseball bat repeatedly on a lock, which looks like a padlock, which is on the outside of the hatch, which leads to the basement. He is trying to open or undo this lock with the baseball bat. It looks like a dump. I am sorry. As I go to the basement, the man tells me, as if to apologize about the mess or disorder in the basement. I am clinically depressed, you know that? I did not hear you knock, the man says to me. This story involves no car, and this all happened so very fast. There was no fury involved and no anger. On the outside of this house, it seems ornate, like there would be these big pots of colorful flowers at the main entrance outside. A window just above or close to where the basement hatch is. This window is broken, so it might be the source of all of this. Pieces of broken glass.
Are you dumb? Do not go in there. I am trying to help them get out.
The man with the baseball bat outside at the basement hatch says to me as I look at the basement hatch. I am sorry about the mess. A man apologetic and sad and embarrassed. He says to me as I look at a bookshelf full of those notebooks inside a house, the notebooks contain something that is not fun or games, but is serious. I take a moment to run my fingers across the text. Now, this is not the same as reading them word by word, but I will be able to feel what is written there. And I read, how to be more successful in life, how to make a good plan for oneself, how to not be angry anymore, how to not be deprived, how to be angry less, how to be a more successful woman, how to be happier, how to succeed in life, how to remember more, and to eat less and to lose weight, how to be less defiled, how to not care about what anybody says about me. This was all what I read from these notebooks. A body that looked like it had been bashed with a baseball bat, specifically the head.
Hi, did you come to take me to the hospital?
The bearded, chubby man says to me.
I haven't regarded myself as a good-looking individual. I feel really bad about myself. I feel bad. I don't even mind looking at myself in the bathtub.
Bearded man sounds miserable.
So, I don't mind you looking at me, if you just tell me what you want.
The bearded man says to me, there is a woman in the house. The woman likes flowers.
I have not had an accident. Do you know that?
This is the same as the body, which will be frail and yellow and white, like ligaments. This woman is that body. She has a wristwatch on her wrist, which looks like it is made out of linked together, like chains that go around, and of a metallic color. It reminds me of 1990s style. This target pool goes from the 1630s up until the year 1999. Based on this watch, I would guess that we are from 1950 all the way up to maybe 1999. I would guess early 90s at the latest. There is no rush to go anywhere. This all happened very quick.
Just relax, I'm not going to hurt you.
The bearded, chubby man says to the frail woman as the woman sits on the sofa indoors in a house. The man had put his hands down on the woman's shoulders as if for support. At the sofa where the woman was sitting, a toxic poison was delivered with some serious antihistamines. This cup of liquid which someone will drink. This time RV calls it a toxic poison. And the antihistamines, again, RV is searching for the correct word to explain that there's some kind of a medical substance which has been added into this liquid, and it has some type of a toxic poison effect on the person who will drink this.
Please, leave me alone! Help me!
I find some items on what seems to be a kitchen island counter, and as I'm looking at the items, one of them registers as a baseball glove, means it feels like or reminds of the same man who was earlier outside with the baseball bat and hitting on the lock to the basement hatch. This man sees me looking at the items and he says to me,
Do you want to take them? To steal them, I mean?
this man asks me about the items.
I didn't mean to do it. I mean, I made myself regret it the most. I just wanted her to relax. I gave her a special coffee, a drug to not remember me. I mean, I just wanted her to relax, not to not know me anymore. I didn't want to beat her down with a baseball bat. I wanted her to not remember me. I wanted her to relax around me. I wanted her to not know me. I wanted her to relax. She wasn't so good to me. I wanted her to go away. Go away now and leave me alone.
He seems to be a different man than the chubby bearded man. Because the man with the baseball bat seems to be a bit taller and more slender and feels different as well. Is a bit more of a strong character, a bit more athletic and such, whereas the chubby man is very soft and apologetic, and they look a bit different. So there could in fact be two different men. A chemical cocktail was administered that takes the memory away.
I was never angry at her. Please forgive me.
A guy who went to school very recently, meaning that in age he is very close to his school years. He was a buff there, a very unliked character. He wanted to go back to his school years to undo and remake everything better. He regretted many things that had happened. He wanted to be a well-liked character, and he would have wanted to date many girls, but he never could before. He was never particularly socially adept. I would think he somewhat recently graduated from or finished with high school. This is something that still occupies his mind very much. And he would have wanted to be popular at school and liked and friends, and the school years was a disappointment. Such a big part of him is still stuck in the past, stuck in the school years. From the notebooks I sense someone who wants to achieve greatness. So we have a person who feels disappointed in himself, and he wants to work on himself to become a better person and to be more successful in life. These notebooks are like a person struggling with himself, writing, making notes, making plans, writing papers with a master plan for fixing his life. The frail body, which looks yellow-white in coloration, this person was beat down with a baseball bat, and its body was buried outside in the sand. There is no anger. This was done peacefully.
Stop looking at me. You are making me anxious.
The bearded man in the basement says to me. The bearded man went away because of his confusion. He was an unhappy individual. He didn't want to be like other men. He wanted to be well liked. I see a bathtub with liquid, presumably water, in it. This bathtub could also be the swimming pool that I was seeing earlier, as well as the boat, could even be the bathtub. The man with the baseball bat is here.
I am going to kill the person who did this to my wife. I am recollecting these events backwards to see what has happened. I am not sad or angry anymore. I am just seeing what happened.
The man with the baseball bat lights a cigarette. He is sitting on a sofa. He goes to the bathtub and retrieves a glass of milk. The glass of milk is the cup.
I don't know what I am going to do.
The man with the baseball bat, except this time without a baseball bat, he is sitting almost on the ground or otherwise on a low ledge, and he is crying. There is a woman here, and her intestines feel like chaos because of an ingested substance.
I wanted to be prominent, and she got in the way of my plans.
There is a serious problem with the blood pressure in a body that is lying down. It looks like the blood pressure became severely low or stopped, and it looks like body fluids are just standing still now inside the body. Someone should tell you to stop coming here, a man at the target says to me. Do not worry, it's all right now. A man with some beard says to a woman. The woman is sitting down as if on the floor or ground. Next to them is what looks like a white boat that is standing vertical on the ground. The man was handing the woman a cup of something to drink. I would not marry you or anything, but come on, let's go. The man picks up the woman from the ground as if to pull her so that she would be standing up. I saw a little house. It had a white wooden porch. Basic, nothing luxury or expensive kind of community. Garden that has some green grass. There is a very controlling man here. He wants to ask everyone a question who comes here. He makes many people feel uncertain. This is the man with the baseball bat, this time without a baseball bat. This is not the same man as the chubby bearded man who feels insecure. The man who we earlier saw had a baseball bat. He has red cheeks on his face, and he has smashed some items, broken them.
I am not a monster. I did nothing to this child.
He seems to have black eyebrows, somewhat long eyebrow hairs. I think black hair. The forehead looks to be narrow on the sides. The skin is not white or pale, but a kind of a darker brown, or almost with purple on the color. It does not look like the smooth face of a young man, I would say in his 40s or plus. He has a jacket with a zipper on it. It looks like a white or pale gray jacket with some blue diagonal stripes at the hips. It looks kind of like 1970s, 1980s style of a jacket. It has kind of a synthetic fabric look and feel. It's not a year 2000 or above jacket. It looks a bit older. It looks like it would not really fit in the 1990s either. So it could be a little bit earlier. This jacket. I'm sorry, I'm not making fun of anybody or anything, but this jacket just it just looks so old-fashioned. The frail woman body has low blood sugar. This body is inside the structure that looks like a white boat, or it just could also maybe be the bathtub, just this white tub-like structure, which is in water or has water in it. She's lying down on her back there. She had to stop breathing eventually. The condition of her body meant that eventually the body could not carry on longer in the state that it was in. The blood pressure is so low that it can no longer be measured on her. The chubby bearded man was very interested in someone who was still going to school, child or teenager or someone who still attended school. His interest really comes from kind of longing that he wishes he could relive his own school years so that he could hope to do those years better. He's really living in the past. The chubby bearded man. There was no conflict here. It happened all peacefully. There is a dead body which is floating in the water. Part of the head is missing. The side here of the forehead is just a hole here. The person whose body is floating in the water, this person spent some time locked up in the house, in the basement, which had the hatch entrance to the basement, which was locked from the outdoors. The body that is in the water, it really looks like the yellow-white frail body, which seems to be a woman. And the body in the water, it has to do with forgetting, with not remembering. People seem to be having a party at someone's home. The woman of our story is one of the 3 or so people sitting in the sofas. People are having drinks of alcohol. Someone slipped a dissolving tablet into the woman's drink. The reason behind why a man put a dissolving tablet into the woman's drink has to do with the notes in the journals that the man wrote, with his plans of betterment of himself and his life. I saw a VHS video tape, and someone put it into the VCR. VCR is the thing you put the cassette into so you can watch the film on the TV. I saw it, the VHS. It means we're in the late 1900s. There are children's toys here, and a dog, and a plan of murder. I had the sense that the children's toys are of the children who belong to this house, because we had a woman in this house who had many children, and it has this feeling of a family home, that they all live there, including the dog.
I need to make a plan for my future. I don't box or anything, I'm pretty mellow. But a lot of guys don't like me because of it. I wish I was a bit tougher. I wish I could box. The women would like me then. I could be more popular, and I wish I didn't eat so much. I wish I could lose weight. I wish I wasn't so round. And then perhaps more women would like me then. I wish I wasn't this. Oh, I could almost hate myself. No one likes me. No one, and I mean no one in this whole world. I could just make a trap for someone, lure someone in, and then maybe they could like me. I mean, if someone really knew me, then perhaps, and maybe I wouldn't need to learn to box or anything anymore. I could just be with a pretty girl, and then maybe someone would like me. I am not used to or equipped to live in this house. I need a bigger pad. I need more oxygen. I need to get out.
A blanket for small children, which had a variety of cartoon-like zoo animals on it. The only one that I was able to draw before starting to forget was this giraffe. It has almost a sense of a little bit of maybe 1970s type of style. It had maybe like giraffe and a monkey and a this and that little animals. I find a man who has a big belly. Maybe it's the chubby bearded man, I'm not sure this time. Thinks that he is in charge of everybody else, and that he can tell everybody else what to do and where to go. The man who wrote the notes in the notebook, he makes plans to make everybody else in the whole world feel ridiculous. He wants a revenge on people and on the world. So he's making these plans that he writes down in his notebooks. We have the garden with the many flower pots and flowers. There's just so many orange and yellow colored. It looks like daisies, but these are orange and yellow.
How could I do this? How could this happen? Oh no, what have I done? I am so sorry for what I've done to you. Don't be ashamed of this, of what I wrote.
I shouldn't have drunk so much. I feel really unwell.
Says the one who seems to be a woman. She feels dizzy in her head. Her heart and pulse goes weak.
I will crawl out of this space. I will get home.
The woman says she is under the white boat structure in that small compartment space, but she is on the ground lying on her belly or on her side. She uses her fists or wrists to push herself forward, crawling that way outward from under here. The place where the body of the missing person would have been found is in the backyard garden of a house. And the garden at the back has a green grass. The ground forms like a hill or a ditch downward, a downgrade towards this fence here, where I have drawn it with the dark green. It goes downward, and the person would have been found down there. And this is the same garden that has the many big pots or urns that have flowers in them. It looks very ornate and pretty. There are several children's toys strewn about in the garden. This ditch type of area, which is against a fence, it has gravel in it. And this gravel feels like it goes a little bit deep. On the other side of this fence, as I have drawn the trees there, would be a little bit of a wild forest type of area. Not sure how big, but I put my hand into the gravel and I find a bone. There's again this cart which has wheels under it, and this time I saw it more clearly, and it looked like a small red children's play cart. I hear the doorbell of the house, which has the many potted plants in the garden.
I wanted to say thanks to you.
The chubby bearded man shows up at the front door of the house, and he has a big bouquet of dense red roses that he wants to give to the woman before the woman was a victim.
I am such a fatty.
The chubby man thinks about himself while he's having a manic episode in which he's cleaning and clearing away lots of items upstairs in the house.
Why did you do this to me? I want to know.
No, stop making a scene.
The chubby man seems to be wearing light grey colored jogging pants, the kind of soft pants that one would wear around the house.
I don't want to go back to school and relive everything.
He brought me flowers, and then I thought that he was going to be nice to me. First, he took me to a bathtub to clean out all the evidence.
No, leave her alone. She is dead now, or not yet.
The man who earlier had a baseball bat says to me as I dip a finger into the bath water when the woman is in the water. And just to be clear, I do things like that as part of remote viewing.
We were trying to go to a restaurant earlier, but then we fought, I guess. I didn't want to go. He tried to bring me flowers to make up for it. I didn't want to go anyway.
The woman in the bathtub said or thought this. She was talking about herself and the man who earlier had the baseball bat. This implies that they would have met or known about each other earlier as well, before the man brought the flowers to the house. The man who earlier had the baseball bat, after the woman has been in the bathtub, this man puts the woman into the red cart that has wheels in order for him to transport the body out into the garden at the back.
I have to clean up here, quick. You won't see me again. I am going to leave you. She died in my arms.
Oh no, what am I going to do?
The chubby man with grey jogging pants is kneeled down on the hallway floor that is just indoors from the main entrance of this house. On the floor in front and around him are many what look like photographs spread around on the floor.
He gave me flowers at first, so I thought that he was nice. But then he hurt me. He didn't seem nice at all after a while, and I wanted him to leave my house. But he didn't leave.
No one needs to know. The man, I'm not sure which of the two men. They could also be the same man, these two, but seen differently. He says or thinks as the woman is in the bathtub, as if he thinks that by washing her body, any evidence of his doing will be washed away.
No one has bid on her or anything. She is entirely uninjured.
At least I didn't do any adultery. I was still with my husband and children.
The woman thinks with regard to this entire situation. This implies that the man who showed up with red roses and who had the grey pants was not her partner. Or that is at least the feeling I got.
I am not in a hurry to do any of it, but I have to do it quick. I don't have a lot of money in my bank. I have to stop being a moron. I really screwed up this time. I gotta make this right somehow. I gotta turn the lights off so no one sees me. This is not really easy for me to do.
The man who has had the baseball bat, he has a narrow, long face, and his cheeks are very sunken in, and he has a large, chubby chin. His nose is very long, and the nose is large. I think he has a bit of a darker skin, like some brown on the skin color and darker hair and dark eyes. Time for feedback. I'm not nervous, I'm just, yeah. Target 1119-9588 is target 144 from my target pool. It is the East Coast Parkway murder. On 20th of September 1981, Kalingam Mariappan, a 45-year-old boiler man, was last seen entering a lorry with two men, after the three of them had had drinks, and by a third man at the coffee shop. He was missing for 2 days before his wife reported him missing. The two men last seen with Kalingam were eventually brought in for questioning by the police, and one of them admitted that Kalingam was dead and they were responsible for assaulting him and setting his body on fire. Kalingam's body was later found at the East Coast Parkway, and the two suspects, 22-year-old lorry driver Ramu Annadavaskan and 16-year-old news vendor Radhakrishnan Ramasamy, were both charged with murder. Eventually, the trial court sentenced Ramu to death for murder, while the other, Radhakrishnan, was imprisoned indefinitely under the president's pleasure since he was still underage when he killed Kalingam. Disappearance and death. On 22nd of September 1981, Supa Latmi reported to the police that her husband, 45-year-old boilerman Kalingam, had gone missing for 2 days. According to Supa Latmi, Kalingam had last left home on the 20th of September to go to work but never came back. The police therefore conducted investigations into the disappearance of Kalingam. One of the witnesses questioned was 18-year-old Selva Raju, a distant relative of the missing man. Selva Raju told police that he last saw Kalingam at a coffee shop drinking beer with 3 other young men, 2 of whom he identified as 16-year-old news vendor Radhakrishnan and 22-year-old lorry driver Ramu. The third young man last seen with Kalingam was later identified as Perumal, who was later questioned by police. Perumal said that after their drink session, Ramu invited them to go to Changi Airport for more drinks, as at that time Terminal 1 had just opened and it was a popular spot for Singaporeans to hang out. At first, Kalingam and Perumal declined, as Perumal wanted to head home while Kalingam wanted to go to work. Perumal said that after Ramu assured Kalingam he would bring him to work after the trip to Changi Airport, Kalingam relented and therefore entered Ramu's lorry with Ramu and Radhakrishnan. According to Perumal, who did not join them and went back home, it was the last time he saw Kalingam alive. On the 24th of September, both Ramu and Radhakrishnan were brought into custody for questioning. During interrogation, Radhakrishnan confessed to the police that Kalingam was dead and the body was located at the forest in East Coast Parkway. Radhakrishnan led the police to the site the next day, where the charred corpse of a man in a high state of decomposition was found, as well as an identity card belonging to Kalingam and a tin filled with leftover petrol. The case was therefore classified as murder, and Inspector Leong Kong Hong took over the investigations. The body was later identified as the missing man, 45-year-old Kalingam. Radhakrishnan and Ramu were both officially placed under arrest and charged with murder. This was not the first time Ramu faced a murder charge. He was once charged in 1979 for killing a boy, Aga Khan Surate, during a fight between 2 large groups, but was eventually let off with a $230 fine after his murder charge was reduced to one of affray. Just 5 months before getting his second charge of murder, Ramu had punched a policeman, Kokwek Leong, during a Thai Pusam festival when he got into a fight over a lost drum, and he was fined $500 for an assault charge. Murder trial, prosecution's case. On the 26th of June 1984, both 24-year-old Ramu and 18-year-old Radhakrishnan stood trial at the High Court for the murder of 45-year-old Kalingam. Spencer Gui was in charge of the prosecution's case, while both Ramu and Radhakrishnan were represented by Subhas Anandan and R. Balakrishnan during the court proceedings. Coincidentally, Anandan was the lawyer who had once represented him during the first two court cases Ramu got involved in before. Professor Chao Tse Cheng, the senior forensic pathologist, came to court to present his autopsy report on the victim's death. He testified that there were 3 skull fractures on Kalingam's head, which were caused by an instrument with several sharp-pointed prongs like a gardening rake. He stated that there were at least 3 blows inflicted with great force on Kalingam's head, and without timely medical attention, Kalingam would have died within a few minutes or half an hour. Professor Chow also discovered soot particles inside the lungs, meaning that Kalingam was still alive when he was set on fire by either Ramu or Radhakrishnan, or both of them. And the severity of the burns, which covered 40% of the body, were also sufficient to cause Kalingam's death, even if without the skull injuries he sustained. It was the prosecution's case that one of the defendants, Ramu, had the motive to commit murder, as there had been bad blood between Ramu and Kalingam, who both often argued with each other over petty issues. According to the prosecution, Ramu had been having disputes and fights with Kalingam's brothers-in-law and their friends, and it was said that Kalingam had spread false tales and rumors about Ramu, causing Ramu to be assaulted by one of Kalingam's brother-in-laws. Due to this, the prosecution contended that Ramu formed the intention to kill as a result of hatred against Kalingam. Kalingam's wife testified that Ramu had threatened to kill her husband and make their 7 children fatherless. Selvaraju, who was one of the last witnesses seeing Kalingam alive, also testified that Ramu had confessed to killing Kalingam with Radhakrishnan's abetment and taunted Selvaraju to go to the murder site to see his body. Under the cross-examination by Ramu's lawyer, Selvaraju denied that he gave the testimony out of spite due to Ramu having previously assaulted him on several occasions. The witness statements by another witness, Perumal, who was killed by a friend during a fight over drugs prior to the trial, were also admitted as evidence. Perumal's friend, 30-year-old Retnam, was later jailed 7 years for manslaughter. Subsequently, both Radhakrishnan and Ramu argued that their statements were not made voluntarily and stated they were assaulted by officers who forced them to admit to the murder. However, these allegations were denied by the trial court. Ramu's defense. Ramu was the first to go to the stand to give his testimony. He stated that on the day of the murder he was having drinks with Kalingam, Radhakrishnan, and the 4th man, Perumal. He said that he hoped that this session would be a way for him and Kalingam to bury the hatchet and resolve their differences. However, while he, Kalingam, and Radhakrishnan were on the way to Changi Airport, he and Kalingam got engaged into an argument once again, and hence he stopped the lorry at the East Coast Parkway, and he therefore used a gardening rake to hit Kalingam on the head. Similarly, Radhakrishnan joined in to inflict 2 subsequent blows on Kalingam's head as well. After this, Ramu and Radhakrishnan thought that Kalingam had died, and therefore decided to set his body on fire to destroy evidence of his death. Ramu said they never expected that Kalingam would suddenly regain consciousness and rolled around on the ground in pain, and they had no choice but to leave him due to them unable to do anything to help him. Subhas Anandan, Ramu's lawyer, submitted that his client had no intention to cause death. Anandan said that his client genuinely believed that Kalingam was dead when he set him on fire. He also argued that Kalingam's death was not within the calculations of Ramu's mind, and therefore the act of him setting Kalingam on fire and unexpectedly causing his death should be regarded as voluntarily causing grievous hurt or culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. However, Deputy Public Prosecutor Spencer Gui argued that Ramu had the intention and motive to commit murder, since he had made threats on Kalingam's safety and life due to the unsettled conflicts they had between them, and also argued that it was corroborated by the fact that Ramu took the longest route to Changi Airport and took Kalingam to a secluded spot at East Coast Parkway to assault and set Kalingam on fire, and even pointed out that Ramu had knowingly set Kalingam on fire to intentionally let him be burned alive. Radhakrishnan's defense. Radhakrishnan, who also elected to give his defense, told the court his version of what happened. His main defense was that he was fearful of Ramu and that he had threatened him to help assault and kill Kalingam. Radhakrishnan stated that he had to obey because of his fear of Ramu and his past experience of being assaulted by Ramu prior to Kalingam's murder. Radhakrishnan recounted that when he was on the lorry, he thought Ramu was driving a shortcut to Changi Airport, but Ramu drove to East Coast Parkway and forcibly dragged the drunken Kalingam out of the lorry. Radhakrishnan said Ramu shouted at him angrily to come down with the gardening rake, which Ramu used to hit at Kalingam's head first, before ordering Radhakrishnan to hit Kalingam twice. After the deadly assault, Radhakrishnan claimed that Ramu had threatened him, warning him not to attempt to escape. He was instructed to retrieve the petrol and pour it over Kalingam's unconscious body before Ramu set him on fire. Radhakrishnan stated he never knew Kalingam was still alive, but when he saw Kalingam suddenly get up in pain and run all around the forest, calling out mother in Indian, Radhakrishnan wanted to help, but Ramu stopped him, threatening him to get back into the lorry. When questioned by DPP Gui about why he did not tell the police that he tried to help Kalingam, Radhakrishnan explained that he thought the police would not believe him if he said it, and therefore he felt he should only reveal it to the court. He also denied the prosecution's contention that Ramu had never threatened him all along, and denied that he intentionally joined in Ramu's pre-arranged plan to kill Kalingam. Sentence. On the 3rd of July 1984, the two trial judges, Justice Abdul Wahab Gwaus and Justice T.S. Sinaturai, delivered their verdict. Justice Sinaturai, who read out the judgment in court, stated that both judges were satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that both men were guilty of the brutal and gruesome murder of Kalingam, and were also satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that both defendants shared the common intention to cause grievous harm to the victim, such that the injury was sufficient in the ordinary course of nature to cause death. Justice Sinaturai stated that Ramu had directly attacked Kalingam with a rake without giving him the chance or hope to put up any resistance, and also pointed out that the defendants had admitted to seeing the unconscious Kalingam getting up in pain after they set him on fire under the belief that he had died, and this only discredited their claims of having no intention to commit murder. Therefore, the trial court found both Ramu and Radhakrishnan guilty of murder. However, on the account that one of the defendants, Radhakrishnan, was 16 years of age and had not reached 18 at the time of the murder, the trial judges ordered that Radhakrishnan, who was 18 at that point of time, should be imprisoned indefinitely at the president's pleasure, since the law forbid the imposition of capital punishment for minors who committed murder while they were below 18 years old. Hence, only the first defendant, Ramu, then 24 years old, was sentenced to death for murdering 45-year-old Kalingam. According to news reports, although Ramu was calm during the proceedings, Ramu's mother was devastated and distraught at the death sentence being passed upon Ramu, who was her eldest child out of 4 children. Ramu's mother and his female relatives had to be escorted out of court as they increasingly became hysterical over the verdict. Are you ready? Sorry, let's
Yes, I am
restart.
ready. Thank you for introducing me.
No, wait, we have to restart.
Good to be on your show.
I was ready, but I didn't know if you were ready.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay, so this is Fabian Rush, and he was the tasker for this session again. And as the tasker, I sent to him the target pool, which had 331 different targets that I had compiled onto a list. Each target on the target pool list was a different solved missing person case, and I randomized the order. I sent this list to Fabian, the tasker. Now, what Fabian did was he generated one random number in the interval which decides for him which of the 331 targets on the list is the target for this session. Now, he knows what the target is, but he doesn't tell me, not yet. So first he does that. He selects a target from the list. Then he creates a new random target number. It's just random numbers, and he sends that number to me, the target number, which is 8 numbers. That gives me something to look at and to connect with. And I do my remote viewing session. Then I send to Fabian my report, which is the text and my drawings. Now that he has the report, he can now send me the feedback, which means he will now tell me which number target I had. And then I can look up that feedback and go to the page on the internet and read about the case and find out which case I had out of the list. So this procedure ensures that even though I know what targets are on the list, because I compiled them myself, there are so many and I don't know which one I have. It creates a blind target where I don't know which one I have, so I can't just be making things up. So that is the protocol we used. And now, Fabian, could you just what I call verify the report? If you pull up the text report that I sent to you for this session, if you just read on each of the pages, randomly one sentence or so, wherever you choose, just to show, obviously you can't read the whole thing, but
Yeah. Okay. On the first, starting on the first page, I'm gonna go halfway down. Let's see. We have two, i.e., a bearded man smiling and happy. I'm gonna skip to about halfway through that paragraph. It says number 2, many metastases in this person. Cells that are changed typically refer to cancer. He hates himself. He doesn't like who he is. That's page 1.
Yeah.
Page 2, I'm gonna go to the bottom of the page, F, a fuming mess, chaos. It wants to go somewhere but cannot. It hesitates many times. Therefore, it feels weak and frail and numb. Going down another page. I think this time I'll go toward the second paragraph, toward the top of the page. Orange elements, items. Soft, like baseball gloves, does not belong to a woman. They are affectionately held. This is not a Bible. Next page. I'm going to go halfway down where it says unpleasant smell. Beneath under there, SE. Box-shaped rectangular solid that is in the water, metallic-like. Frail things inside and items above it. Next page, last sentence here. A bicycle wheel, a bicycle, locks over it, chains over the bicycle. Someone got rubbed and their skin came off. Going to the next page. A swimming pool disaster. The house is locked up with chains. Skipping down another page. Our first line of dialogue here says, "Are you dumb? Do not go in there. I am trying to help them get out." The man with the baseball bat outside at the basement hatch says to me, as he says this to you as I look at the basement hatch. Next page down, the frail body was beat down with a baseball bat, and its body was then buried outside in the sand during bright daylight. Next page, second to last paragraph. I am not a monster. I did nothing to this child. Controlling man/baseball Batman. Next page down, we have toward the bottom of the page, VHS tape is put into a VCR. There are children's toys here and a dog and a plan of murder. Going down to the next page, About halfway through, I see a line of dialogue. I am so sorry for what I've done to you. Chubby bearded man says, sad and calm, to the yellow white body that I think is a woman. Next page down, I am such a fatty, chubby man, as he is having a manic episode in which he is cleaning and clearing away lots of items upstairs in the house. All right, last sentence on page 13 of 14. The baseball bat man has sunken in cheeks and a darker face. He has a large, long nose. He likes to party. And then the last page, end of remote viewing at 21:51.
Thank
So
you.
I think, is that everything you need for a
Yeah,
verification?
could you just, as for the drawings that I sent to you, could you
Yeah,
just describe
sure.
what's on each?
Okay. You sent me 4 drawings. The first one has several different images. I see what looks like a brown structure, cabin-like, toward the right side. I see a person that is orange, laying down flat with their eyes closed, a red blob beneath that, a bearded man with mustache and I'm guessing kind of brown hair in the center of the image. To the left of that and up above, I see a cup with a liquid in it. And down below that, I see a shape that's difficult for me to really describe immediately. It has a blue element, 3 orange elements, and a seed-shaped element, and it seems to be on some structure platform-like thing that might be on wheels. That's just how I'm going to describe it quickly by just looking at it briefly.
No, that's good.
All right, the next image that I have is a house, could be the same one, but this one is not colored in. So it's kind of, or it's shaded in with a light gray. Next to that, we have a masculine looking person with a beard, possibly blonde hair. Beneath that, we have possibly the same structure here, a house, but now we're seeing more of the surrounding area, like perhaps a fenced-in backyard is how I would describe that, with green grass and some foliage beyond the fence. The bottom center of the image looks like perhaps a toy. Right off, I would describe it as maybe a giraffe toy.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
with kind of those antler
That's
things that
exactly
grow.
what it is.
Yeah. And then next to that, we have a red, oh my gosh, one of those red pull your little sibling along toys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cart.
a little red cart, a cute little thing for pulling along.
Yeah.
All right, next page. Oh, I see the first of the more disturbing looking images to me. This looks like this is a person. Gender, I'd say they look effeminate to me, with blonde hair and blue eyes. But the look on their face, I can't tell if they're alive by this picture, and they seem to be suspended in a liquid. So I could guess at floating in a stream, but that's not what's drawn here. All I see is the person's face, eyes open, and what I would describe as liquid that they're in, or water. And last page, I see a dark complexioned, dark skinned man with very thin, with strong cheekbones, long face, not round face, not a lot of fat in this person, but very thin, gaunt, with sunken in cheeks, dark brown skin, brown eyes, and dark hair, masculine looking. And that's how I would describe all these images.
Thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so obviously Fabian cannot read the entire text report, but you can hear the description that it matches with what I present in the session. So this is the best way that I can think of to verify the session, I guess. So
I use the random target generator and I see the title East Coast Parkway Murder. And did not go to a Wikipedia link. I didn't look up what East Coast Parkway murder is. I didn't do any research, so I
yeah,
would say this. So I'm certainly not psychically connecting anything to you, because I don't. All I know is that there's probably a murder involved based on the
yeah.
title.
And Fabian as the tasker, I do not require him to read my report. He doesn't have to even comment on how well does my report match with the feedback or with the target. That's irrelevant. His job here is only to verify the session and to give me a blind target where I don't know what the target is. And I set up this whole thing just to try to show that I wasn't just making things up and that I did not know what the target is while I'm working on it. So, I'm blind to the target, so I'm not cheating, basically. Yeah. So that's what this is all about. I guess we can just end it there.
Okay.